Okay, welcome to the show. So I'm James Alexander from I Chongqing. It's a pleasure to have you today, and here with me.
Xiao from Chongqing. I guess some of you already watched our live stream series. Have already saw me like last Thursday. I was with Mikkel, and this time we have James with us. As we already put the preview about what our live stream is about, right? 2 days ago on our I Chongqing and YouTube channel. So this time we will talk about James' first Yangtze Cruise experience. Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's right. So last Wednesday, I went on a very special trip that was organised by the Cultural and Tourism Commission here in Chongqing. And I went with a group of diplomats and also businessmen as well. And we went to go and see the cultural tourism resources of Chongqing along the Yangtze River. And because we went on the Yangtze Cruise, the location we've chosen for this live broadcast today is actually Cheltenham Docks.
It's quite interesting. So, because the live stream is about the Three Gorges Cruise and Yangtze Cruise, right? And we choose the place is called Cheltenham Dock in Chongqing. This is like the big dock here where you get on this cruise. And actually, James, we can show our audience around a little bit about the environment here. And meanwhile, our dear audience, if you have any questions, welcome to interact with us during the live stream. We'll try our best to answer you on time.
Yeah, of course. So we'll want to get a bit more interaction going as well. So it's not just me speaking for like 50 minutes. So it'd be really good to communicate with our friends around the world who are watching us today. Okay, so I suppose the most iconic landmark is right behind us.
Show us like what's around here, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, let's start with the most iconic location. So a lot of you will know that this is the Raffles Centre, Raffles Square here in Chongqing, and this was opened about earlier this year. Maybe it took about 6 or 7 years to build. And I remember I was in Chongqing before Raffles was built. So I think before, just behind me, there used to be some residential buildings, but I think so.
Yeah, it's like this because Raffles City is quite new, right? This giant behind us is just finished not long ago, like that. It's become landmark here, but where it is built is here, Cheltenham Dock. That in front of us is the conjunction of Yangtze River and Jialing River. James, maybe you can show our audience like this river and these ships around this dock.
Okay, no problem. So I'm going to turn my camera around and show you what there is to see. Okay, so the cruise boat I took was in that direction. So I took the Yangtze Gold 6 from dock number 15. But you probably can't see it because that one was kind of a bit closer towards that bridge around the bend in the river. A lot of the boats you can see here are actually mostly the night cruising boats.
Night cruising boats, and because this is two river, right? Let's see that side. There is like broad river surface. See there is the conjunction of Yangtze River and Jialing River over there. Yes, it's kind of foggy today. Yeah, it's kind of cloudy, but still you can see the grand conjunction there. The boat James just showed us, actually, there are a few days cruise, right? Like the ones James just finished a few days ago that you got on this cruise. Usually it's like those with a lot of layers, different floors. These are for like a few days trip along the Three Gorges. And there are some like in front of us. This one is like sightseeing. It's like this usually people take this kind of cruise at night to see through the two rivers. It's like 1 hour or 2 hours ride, right?
Yeah, they go to both rivers. So normally it'll go up the Yangtze River for a few kilometers, turn around, come back here, and then go a few kilometers down the Jialing River.
Yeah.
Okay, and actually about a year ago when we took a trip on this boat, was it this boat?
Yeah, I think
so.
It's that one.
That's right.
Our dear audience can actually watch our episode of Travel Guide, our YouTube channel, and on our I Chongqing website about the vlogs we did about the along the two rivers cruise. It's quite wonderful because Chongqing is really, really beautiful at night, right? James, can we maybe talk a little more about like the Cheltenham Dock's history?
Okay,
because it's so close connected with the city, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'll talk a bit more about that. And also just at the moment, I just want to extend my greetings as well to Brenda RG, who's in Mexico. So she's saying hello from Mexico.
Oh, yeah, hello.
Yes, and Nadita Thapamaga. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. But but thank you very much for joining us. And again, if you have any questions during a live broadcast, feel free to ask, and we'd be really delighted to share with you.
Yeah, greetings like that, nice welcome like that. So back to the history of Chaotianmen Dock, right? Because currently we are in Chongqing, and this city has like many other Chinese cities, has like a lot, very long history, like thousands years. And about the history of Chongqing, actually is very closely connected to here, like the Chaotianmen Dock, where James and I will currently stand. James, can you tell us more about a story about this place?
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's start with the very name. So Chaotianmen. So actually, this name Chaotianmen kind of means like sky gates or gates pointing to the sky.
Face the sky, like that.
Yeah, facing the sky gates or the heavens. So as you know, there are lots of place names like this with gates in it. So the bridge we just saw down the Yangtze River, that is the Dongshui-men. So Dongshui, like the Dongshui Gate Bridge. And if you go just around the bend here along the Jialing River, you'll get to another bridge called Chen. So actually, a long time ago in the history of Chongqing, they actually used to have city walls.
Yes.
Didn't they? And they had these towers with gate entrances to the city. And that's what this place is actually named after. So Chaotianmen. And I believe as well that during the construction of Raffles City behind us, they actually discovered some remains of the wall, underground during the construction process.
Okay.
Yeah, so and actually that's one of the attractions you can also go and visit here. So if you go into Raffles Square, you can see that signposted as well. It's possible to actually go and see some of the original old city walls. Another famous aspect of Chaotianmen as well, I mean, it's said that this is the origin of the famous Chongqing dish, hot pot.
Yes, like I don't know how many of you have heard of hot pot from China. Actually, in China, when you mention hot pot, for sure they will tell you the most famous hot pot is from Chongqing. It's like a national-wide, very famous cuisine, like a dish, right?
Yes.
Chongqing hot pot, spicy ones. Yeah, if you like spicy, this is the dish for you, and it's close connected with Chaotianmen also, right?
Yeah, that's right. And of course, hot pot is kind of expanding across the world nowadays. So you can even, you can find it across China, of course, and actually even in my hometown in England, which is Leicester, by the way, because there were so many Chinese students, they've also opened some hot pot restaurants there. But of course here in Chongqing, this is like the most authentic experience.
It's the most authentic.
Yeah, by
here,
a long way.
Chaotianmen has like thousands of years of history here also. At the beginning, there are many boats, right? Like now, there are many cruise ships here, and also as Yangtze River is passing through the city, it's a very important port for these cruise ships to park since the ancient time, also until now. And so, there are many boat trackers at that time, right? To pull the boat back to the bank. Now, of course, we have machinery things to do this, but in old times, on this busy port here, and many boat trackers will pull the ship just to the bank, like here along Chongqing. And then, what do they eat? This hot pot is one thing they helped to develop for Chongqing. Like they use a pot and put like oil and hot water inside, spicy, and put different meat and like this inside to cook. So that is their main food actually in old times for these boat trackers. And gradually, this way of eating, because the taste is good and also because they really like the way make it is really easy, right? So it becomes so popular around the city. It becomes the specialty cuisine in Chongqing until now. And now this kind of hot pot has been famous all over China, and many, like James mentioned, abroad in many cities they also have this kind of cuisines, right? Like hot pot, Chongqing hot pot restaurants.
Yeah, that's right. But here in Chongqing, like I said, it's the most authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, if you have it in like another part of China or another country, for some reason it just never quite tastes the same. Yeah. Okay. So basically there are two kinds of famous workers associated with the Yangtze River. So one, as we just mentioned, are the porters. So for centuries now, Chaotianmen docks has been like a famous trading post.
Okay.
Yeah, in southwest China. But in the days before mechanical lifts, elevators, things like that, which they have now. Most of the cargo was taken on shore by porters, and these were very distinguishable because they carried the long bamboo poles with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the bamboo poles here were called bang bang, weren't they?
Oh yeah, like the men who actually they are carriers, right? Like they have a long stick on the shoulder and help you to carry this old stuff. Now, okay, you can see less and less these workers doing that. Yeah, like that. Older generations, like 10 years ago, still is maybe like you can say a lot wrong, but not now. It's that kind of carry work they are doing, especially with stick and carrying ships around. But now it's like really not very often seen already, right?
Yeah, I mean, in my early days in Chongqing back in 2003, my first few years in Chongqing, actually there were a lot of these manual bamboo stick labourers around. But I think, particularly the last decade, they've kind of started to disappear a little bit, because everything is now becoming, a bit smarter, a bit more mechanised. So maybe there's less work opportunities in a specific area.
Yeah, that's a development of the society, right? Like some work kind of works will be replaced by the development of technology for sure. Yeah. This is a great sightseeing place. Just look around there, and it's like work days, but still allow for like tourists, visitors to this place for sightseeing.
Yeah, it's a very chilled out atmosphere at the moment. So during the days, it's nice and quiet. Yeah, but even so, I mean, if you walk around the streets of GarciaFamily, Bay, it's still possible to see the bamboo workers. I mean, I'll just say quickly, I mean, the other famous worker associated with the Yangtze River are like the trackers. Okay, but then this was mostly before the Yangtze River had the Three Gorges dam built.
Yes.
So at that time, the river flowed much more quickly, and also it was a lot more dangerous to navigate as well. But for a lot of these boats that were travelling upriver, the current was so strong. So often they had teams of up to sometimes 200 trackers. So they had like a long rope, which they would attach to the boats, and you would have teams of almost hundreds of these trackers who would literally haul the boats up against the river.
That is like really stunning view, I think. Now it's like really not usually seen that's the case. By the way, James, can you share with our audience and also with me, your Three Gorges trip? Like the Yangtze River cruise. Tell us more about that, and also I know you will share with us some pictures meanwhile, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get back to the main topic then. So last Wednesday evening, I went onto the Yangtze Gold 6 cruise ship, and we went on a 2-night, 3-day tour of the Yangtze to go and study cultural tourism resources. We didn't go. We didn't actually do the whole trip. I mean, the normal trip takes you all the way to Yichang, past the dam into Hubei province. But because this trip was specifically about the resources of Chongqing, we left the ship in Wushan. Yeah, and then when we were there, we went to go and see some of the local tourism resources there. And then we returned to Chongqing by the high-speed train on Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that our audience can see on the screen, right? This is the boat actually you are going.
Yeah, this is the boat we went to. So I took this photograph. Actually, this cruise ship is the largest cruise ship we can take. So the Yangtze Gold Cruises, they have I think it's like 6 or 7 cruise ships of different sizes.
Okay.
But the Yangtze Gold 6 and Yangtze Gold 7 are the largest ones. And they're actually exactly the same size, they're as big as they're allowed to build them. So I think before 2012, they had to use smaller cruise ships for the Yangtze, and this was because of the water depth of the Yangtze. But now at some points of the Yangtze now are deeper by about 60 meters. And there aren't any strong currents anymore. And the captain during the trip also told me that sailing on the Yangtze now is a bit like sailing on a lake. Okay. Yeah. So basically now the biggest dimension, the ship weighs about 17,000 tons.
That's quite heavy. Like this one, right? It's a very big one. Like how many? What are I think you go with group, I think, right?
Yes.
It's not like a personal trip to there, but it's a
group
trip.
So there are a couple of groups associated with this. So the main guests were not actually me and the media.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were kind of more tagging along and reporting on the trip as it progressed.
Oh, you went there as a like reporter, right?
Yes.
Who are these people? Oh, who are these people in the pictures?
Okay, so these were the main guests. So these are diplomatic representatives from Southwest China.
From like Chongqing or like Chengdu and this kind of cities, these
Yeah.
diplomats, right? Okay.
So, for example, we had a few diplomats from here in Chongqing. So, of course, we had Agustina. So, you know Agustina?
Oh, yeah.
So she's a good friend of us at Chongqing. And also, I can't pronounce his name. So, Watanabe.
Okay, from Pakistan.
No, Japanese, yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a Japanese consulate here in Chongqing. So he and his wife came along as well. But there were also diplomats from neighbouring cities. So, for example, we had Mahmood, the consul of Pakistan in Chengdu. Also Tan King,
Actually,
Singapore.
Yeah, they are come here actually to see around the most iconic scenic spots about Chongqing, like the Three Gorges, like cruise trip, right? And then they can fly back to their own audience and to their own countries, people, right? To seek cooperation, maybe in tourism part.
Yeah.
We got a question. James, we got a question from Catherine 10 that she asked, is the new Three Gorges more beautiful or less attractive?
Yeah, okay. So, after the dam was built, I think it was completed in 2003. And I think the final river level was reached around 2009. So it kind of took a good few years to fill. And yeah, I think the water level has increased by about 60 meters. Yeah, so the Yangtze River is about 60 meters deeper than it was before. So as you can imagine, that means a lot of the scenery that used to be on view in the Three Gorges has been submerged. Okay. So it's not, it's still very, I would still say it's very beautiful, of course, but I would say the Three Gorges themselves are a little less spectacular than before the dam was built.
Like you mentioned, the water raised a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then the thing is, of course, the Three Gorges above the surface is like maybe not that like maybe tons and some years ago, and it's so grand stand out, right? Because the water level raised. But you also said it's posed less dangerous for the cruise to walk to pass navigate on that Yangtze River cruise, right? Like,
yeah. So I mean, every a coin has two sides. I mean, I suppose there's a downside that the scenery of the Three Gorges is it's still beautiful, but it's a little less spectacular because so much has been submerged, and there are also some other things as well. So, for example, there used to be like these ancient walkways built into the cliffs to help people get through the Three Gorges, and these were kind of built in the ancient dynasties. And also there were some other some historical sites, also even hanging graves as well. So I think when some important people died in the past, they actually built like a kind of like a tomb into the cliffs.
Oh yeah, I know you mentioned the
cliff
coffin,
tombs,
like
cliff
coffins. It's
yeah.
really high on the Three Gorges cliffs, and you can see some holes, some the caves there, and the ancient time people placed the coffin there. It's kind of their beliefs or something, right?
Yeah.
But it's really hard to imagine now for us to see this thing. How do they put a coffin inside, like on this kind of high cliffs? Really?
Yeah. I mean, these cliffs are completely inaccessible because basically it's just a vertical cliff face with no walkways or anything like that. So it's really difficult to imagine how they made them. And the only way I can imagine is that somehow they got to some place above and maybe just kind of lowered them in. But I'm sure that would be quite a dangerous thing to do that long ago in the past.
Ancient people got their wisdoms always to do that.
Yeah.
So on your Three Gorges trip, where you have been, along this cruise, I think you definitely visit some places along the bank.
Okay, so if you take a Yangtze Cruise, the basic tourist sites you're going to see are one, because normally the cruise boats leave in the evening. So I think our cruise boats left about 8 o'clock at night, and basically it sailed all the way up the Yangtze River to Fengdu.
Oh, Fengdu, right? We have a saying, Fengdu, like the ghost city. It's a tourist place. It's famous like it's a ghost city. Yeah, so
you moor up at the docks there, and we had some vehicles waiting for us, and they took us up to the temple. And they have some ancient temples at the top. So, for example, this is called the Gate of Hell,
Oh
So,
yeah, that sounds because in China we have this kind of stories. It's like after the life and their health, of course, like a Western lover movies like that. And this is a ghost gate is for people who passed away and they will pass.
Yeah, sure. And I think like those days as well, people are very superstitious as well. And there are lots of interesting facts as well, because along the trip we had lots of excellent guides as well. And she was saying how this temple basically merges, three basic like ancient philosophies. So one is like Buddhism, the other one is Taoism, the one is kind of Confucianism. Yeah, so I mean, you find all of these styles are combined in this attraction here. And actually, I mean, the gates of hell. I mean, this is just a kind of just a gate, but we're told that when you walk inside, you have to laugh loudly.
They told you have to
Yeah,
laugh
yeah.
loudly.
So yeah, and then when you walk past it, there's like a corridor, and they say that when you walk down this corridor, you shouldn't look back. Because if you look back, then your soul is going to be trapped there.
It's kind of it's a tourist place, but they also have a lot of stories inside, like for you to experience, right?
Yeah.
By the way, James, when you are on the trip, you sent me a very interesting video. Like a strong man, we will say, is in this city.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to show in a moment. So this is maybe the most impressive thing I saw here. So there's a part of the ghost city called the psychosomatic stone, and apparently this was built a long time in the. Let's watch it first. Let's watch it first.
How heavy is it?
Okay, this stone is 250 kilograms. So yeah, 250 kilograms.
And this man is trying to lift it.
Yeah, so the aim of this one, I think it was built because I think people in those days were maybe a lot stronger than modern people. So they built it basically so people here could just practice their muscles.
Okay.
Yeah, and also their presence of mind, because I think this also takes a lot of concentration. Because if this thing like falls on your foot or something, it's going to hurt.
I think so, and then he must find a good way of lift this heavy iron stone.
Yeah, I mean,
because or it will hurt the back. But actually, this guy seems doing quite well, right?
Yeah.
Skills
But I think this is his full-time job. So I think he does this like many times a day for the tourists.
Oh, we got audience like hi from California. Hello. This is
okay. So right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining us all the way from California. So welcome to the show.
Yes, we'll continue to sharing James' interesting experience along the Yangtze River. He took the Yangtze cruise, and he now along the cruise he visited many places in Chongqing, like along the Three Gorges like that, and now he's sharing the experience with us as well, displaying some photos. Yeah.
Do you have time to talk more about the ghost city?
Yeah, sure. If you find something interesting.
Okay. Yeah. There was one of the interesting thing at the ghost city, and that was called the Abyss Bridge. Kind of a bit like the Hell Bridge. Okay. Yeah, so they have like they have like a pool, a water pool, what they call the Blood River pool. And basically they have a bridge that goes over it, the Abyss Bridge, and that leads into one of the temples. And they told us some interesting stories about that. So we're saying like when ghosts cross over it, and they kind of have like a sifting process. So let's say during their lifetime, if they were like a bad person, they cross the bridge, and then the gods would be able, would have like a booklet, and maybe a bit like Santa Claus, keeps a list of who the naughty children are. Yeah.
Oh, those legends and the stories is like quite interesting,
yeah.
right? Like,
yeah. So basically, so if a wicked ghost, a ghost who was like wicked during their lifetime crosses the bridge, then they go to hell, and then the rest can I don't know, maybe go to heaven or something. But there was one final interesting thing before we move on as well. That they said if you visit it, if you cross the bridge. With if I crossed with a lady, perhaps, they say if you hold hands and cross the bridge, then that kind of means that you're going to be husband and wife in the next life as well.
Wow, I think that is that's a very interesting trip for you visiting the ghost city. They have so many stories combined with these things you can experience and see there, right? It's very typical Chinese culture. I mean, like there in Fengdu and this district and this scenic spots. If any one of you, like in front of the audience, interested in visiting Chongqing in the future, I think these places you got to check it out because it's so full of Chinese culture themes and stories inside, right? And James, I saw this picture. What are you doing on this picture? This one.
Okay, so this picture coming up, this was after the Ghost City. So we maybe spent about an hour and a half in the Ghost City, in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got back on the boat and we started to sail to our next port, which was Zhongshan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll talk about Zhongshan and what the name means in a few minutes. There's an interesting story behind that as well. But our party had a very special privilege. So the captain allowed us to go onto the bridge at the command center.
Oh, so
for
this
the ship.
is the cruise you are taking. It's so big in the cabin.
Yeah, the bridge is huge. Yeah, so it has almost like a panoramic view. Yeah, of the river outside.
Awesome. I never saw that view beforehand. Must have the best view of the cruise here in the command.
Yeah, probably the best view there is going.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they allowed us to go on. We met with the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you a little bit how it works in there because they gave us a good explanation of how they work.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see behind me there are basically 3 pilots on work, and they didn't actually, they never looked at us. They always look ahead.
Okay.
They don't talk to anybody because they all have to concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
But they control different aspects of the boat. So one controls the speed, the one controls the wheel. And actually the wheel was really, really tiny. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's such a big cruise, and
maybe it's about a third the size of your car steering wheel.
Wow.
It was tiny.
you should have a picture of that. It's like
I should have. Yes.
I was thinking it will be such a big wheel in this big giant cruise.
Yeah, and then the third pilot he pays attention to like the radar and also the radio. So, for example, there was another ship in the way.
Okay.
So he just took the radio and he basically asked them, what's your intention?
Okay.
Now, are you going to, do I pass to the right or the left? Things like that. But apart from that, the captain was also in there, and also I'll just say hello to Vincent E as well.
Yes. Hello to
I'm a Chongqinger.
Chongqing miss my hometown so hard.
Oh yeah, so yeah.
Greetings from Chowtown and Duck.
Oh, it's just she's in California.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So welcome from your hometown.
Yeah, welcome from hometown, we're at Chowtown and Duck, and hope this kind of live stream that we are doing on Duck can bring something fresh for you and say something interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do for all our audience as well. You're welcome to ask questions. So I learned a lot during this trip. So really eager to share my experiences with you. So if there's something I miss or something you're curious about, please do ask in the live chat.
Yeah. And what's your next station after?
Okay. So we went to the Ghost City, and then when we started sailing again, we went onto the bridge. In the evening, we came to another city in Chongqing called Zhongshan.
Okay.
Perhaps if we have time, I'll explain a little bit about the name, Zhongshan.
Zhongshan, yeah.
Okay, so the word Zhong in Chinese means loyalty.
Yes.
So
County.
So Zhongshan it really just means loyalty county, and this is actually named after a is it Ba or Shu? Maybe Shu Guo. Okay, so there was I can't remember exactly. It's either Ba country or Shu country.
Because 3 kingdoms.
Yeah.
3 kingdoms. So it's Shu.
Okay, so there was a ancient general called Ba Manzi. So basically, he had a rebellion, didn't he? Kind of within his county, but he didn't have the power to quell it. So he actually asked help from the state of Chu. So this is a long time ago, maybe thousands of years ago. Not like modern China, which is all kind of united.
Yes.
Yeah. So China used to be like different kingdoms.
3 kingdoms.
Yeah.
Very important and historical stories, historical period of time, China. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, he asked for help from the country of Wei to help him quell the rebellion, and they agreed, but they had a condition: is that basically the Shu country has to cede 3 cities to the country of Wei. Okay, so he agreed, and they quelled the rebellion. but after that, he had a change of heart, because he was very loyal to his country.
Sure.
He decided he didn't want to cede the three cities, but at the same time, he considered himself a man of his word. So what he did, he sacrificed himself. So he basically had his head cut off and delivered to the state of Wei. So in the sense that he's maintaining his loyalty to his country, but at the same time, keeping to his word.
Yes. And this is, you are talking about, because in this picture, it's like this is a performance about that story you are telling about.
Yes.
I think because a cruise parked at the bank of Zhong County, and at night James and all his groups visit this kind of performance, and had maybe 1 or 2 hours. I think this is a stage show.
Sure.
I think I saw this kind of this stage equipment all here. This must be very spectacular.
Yeah, it was a really spectacular show. So the show is basically themed on the Three Kingdoms, the Warring Three Kingdoms. Of course, they're fighting each other to kind of get control of the whole country.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the daytime you visit different parts from the Ghost City, and then at night you can enjoy some performance, also telling the history and culture about the cities along here throughout China's history. I think this tour is really rich of information and experiences to do, right?
Okay, so that was actually the opening scene of the Warring Three Kingdoms. So if you're familiar with the romance of the Three Kingdoms, the first scene is basically the vow taken in the peach gardens.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a reenactment, and it was really impressive. And of course, they had amazing lights, effects, props. They had people on horses. Great costumes.
I'm trying to help you find the goddess. You are talking about the goddess one, right?
Maybe we'll do that one a little bit later. So I think after that we arrived in Wushan. Okay, so I'll just connect those two, and then we'll have a look at the photograph. Yeah, and just say the one more special, a very unique thing about the Warring Three Kingdoms performance is that the stands that you're seating can actually move. Because normally when you go to watch a performance, you have the stage, but actually in front of you. But at this performance, they have a stage in front and also a stage behind, like a different set. So when they want to transfer to the one behind, the stands that you sit on can actually turn around 180 degrees.
Okay, that's quite amazing effect over the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And the second you visit the goddess, right?
Okay. Go on. Next time, if you could show Quayman, would that be okay?
Quayman, of course.
No. Okay, so after the performance, we got back onto the boat, and that was the end of the evening, basically. And we went back to the room. And like the cruise boats now, they're kind of like a 5-star hotel. Yeah, it was very.
Wow, that's very luxurious inside.
Yeah, it was very luxurious. It was like a 5-star hotel. And again, because the Yangtze is like a lake now, it's so smooth as well. You can barely even tell you're moving.
Okay, which picture are you looking for?
Is it Quayman?
Oh, Quayman. Okay, no problem. That is that is iconic place on China's 10-hour note.
Yeah. All right. So after the performance, we returned to the boat, which was still moored in Zhongxian, and then overnight we sailed to our next port of call, which was in Fungjie. So Fungjie is now kind of towards the northeast of Chongqing municipality, and the most famous tourist attraction there is called the White Emperor City, the Baidicheng. And really, what that is, it's another temple. So, but maybe not themed so much on ghosts. It's mostly for the ancient
White Emperor City. Yeah, that is a place because like James mentioned in previous experience, the Three Kingdoms performance, and on the White Emperor City in Fungjie County, where we showed in the picture. That is the angle you can see from the White Emperor City in Fungjie. And this White Emperor City has a close history and stories related to the Three Kingdoms time. And in the picture, this Quayman card is like a cliff, very sharp on the Yangtze River. Actually, it's a very iconic place on China's 10 RMB note. That is iconic place here. James, we got a question from Mikkel.
Welcome.
Yeah, which part of Three Gorges Cruise did you enjoy the most?
Yeah, that's a really tough question because the whole trip was really quite spectacular. I suppose some of the most amazing things are also the Lesser Three Gorges. Because I mean, if I track back a little bit, we had the question, are the Three Gorges as beautiful as they were before? And we were saying, a lot of them have been submerged. But the other side of the coin is that actually the rising water opened some extra rivers. Because actually the Three Gorges are not the only gorges in Chongqing. So now the water levels have risen. There's a tributary that goes into the Yangtze River at Wushan City, which is called the Daning River, so Daning He. And now when you moor at Wushan, you have to transfer onto a smaller boat. And there are 3 more gorges you can go through.
Okay.
And actually, I thought those were kind of, in a sense, even like more spectacular than the Three Gorges themselves.
Do you mean that I displayed on this one here?
No, this one is Wu Gorge. So we actually travelled there, but you can go there on the Three Gorges boats, but we left the ship before that.
From
but
the
yeah.
place, the city, the district.
So yeah, so we actually travelled. This is taken from Goddess Peak. So we actually travelled there by minibus. Yeah, on the 3rd day. But in the Three Gorges, so you can go 3 more gorges on the Daning River, and when you've passed those, actually the river has risen so much. There's actually a 3rd river, which is called the Lesser Three Gorges.
Okay.
Yeah, called the Madu River, and also.
Mikkel mentioned the Lesser Three Gorges,
Yeah.
right? Our audience
Yeah.
had the pleasure to sailing through Three Gorges, so the Lesser Three Gorges last year, beautiful place. I think along the way, just like the picture actually taken by James, displayed on the screen, that are the amazing views that if you took the Yangtze Cruise, that you can always enjoy, right? This is in Chongqing city boundary, still inside. So if you got chance to visit Chongqing, come to Chaotianmen Dock and took a Yangtze River cruise and maybe spend like a 3 days trip or even longer days trip. Just enjoy the whole scenery lines. It will be so wonderful. Yeah, right here.
Sure.
We got a audience ask us, was there any special event the day you visited?
Oh yes, I'm glad you asked that because actually our trip was not only about touring the Three Gorges. I suppose the main feature event of our trip was actually the Chongqing Yangtze 14th Red Leaf Festival. Have you heard of that before? The Red Leaf Festival?
Oh yes, of course, Red Leaf. Wow, this is exactly because it's autumn time, right? Autumn and early winter, and the leaves along the Three Gorges actually was on the cliff turning all red.
Yes.
Oh, that is very spectacular, I believe.
Yeah, it was. So I think they're particularly famous in the counties of Fengjie and Wushan, which is in the far northeast of Chongqing. But the season is quite short, so the leaves turn red really exactly around this time. So when we arrived in Wushan, we did our 3-hour journey through the Lesser Three Gorges. Yeah, so to answer Mikkel's question, I think for me that was maybe had the most spectacular scenery, and maybe my favourite part of the trip. So if you travel that way, the Lesser Three Gorges are definitely a place I would strongly recommend. Yeah, but anyway, on the same night in Wushan, they took us to the city centre theatre. The event was basically in 2 parts. So one, we had the opening ceremony of the 14th annual Red Leaf Festival. So the festival lasts about 5 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So after that, the leaves kind of rot away, and then
during
they
that
don't come back to a year.
time, they have this kind of festival, and I think a lot of activities like even dances, culture, performance going on during that time to have like visitors enjoy more, not only the scenery but also the performances and local cultures during that spectacular time. Yeah.
So and actually that part of the ceremony was very fast, it was just a few minutes. So they invited our diplomats onto the stage, introduced them, and then I think the mayor or the county leader of Wushan just came on stage and he just said, I declare the 14th Red Leaf Festival open. But after that, actually the most special part of the night was actually a live stage performance of the play called Mountain Goddess.
Yeah, just Echo Chen asked us, did you ashore to any place when the crew stopped by? Yes, maybe it's like when James described all these kind of ghost city and Wu Gorges visit, and also like this light performance about Seven Kingdoms is all about the cruise or park. Because a cruise it's a transportation for you to take, but it aims to take you to different scenic spots through waterway, right? And every day James stopped ashore to visit like interesting counties, interesting districts of Chongqing. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of these cities are actually quite far away. So, for example, from here to Fengdu is over 100 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then say like Fengdu to Zhongshan, I mean, off the top of my head, maybe another 50 kilometers. And then Zhongshan to Fengjie, I mean, that's maybe 150, maybe more kilometers. So, I mean, they time the cruise very well. So that normally, you have a good night's sleep, and then in the morning, say after breakfast, 8 or 8:30, then you're perfectly timed to go and visit these places. So along the Yangtze, we stopped in many cities. So in Fengdu, Zhongshan, Fengjie, Wushan, and if you continue for the whole route, you will go to you go through two more gorges all the way to Yichang in Hubei province.
Yeah, sure. That is like the cruise. There are different choices for you. There are shorter trips. There's like longer days trips. Shorter one like 3 days, I think 4 days, 5 days, and you can find like the ones you would like to spend. And also because usually you get on the Three Gorges cruise here in the Chaotianmen Dock of Chongqing. Here, if you have shorter day in Chongqing, you can also take the Two Rivers sightseeing cruise, right? Like at beginning, James and I will just showed you around here, like a different cruise here. It's just 1 hour, 2 hours. You see around the city's night view. It's so spectacular as well. And we have a GarciaFamily4 GarciaFamily4 I can't wait to do the cruise one day.
Yeah, GarciaFamily4. Yeah, so welcome is definitely something you should do, and I definitely include the Lesser Three Gorges in there. This photograph we got here is a picture of me at the back of the boat.
Yes.
Yeah, so behind me, this is part of the scenery in the Lesser Three Gorges. And standing with me is also a fellow journalist as well.
Oh.
Although he's actually from Singapore.
I see.
Yeah, so it's called Edwin Wang. So if you're watching, welcome. If you're watching this later. Yeah, so so in the evening we watched this performance called Mountain Goddess. So do you have?
Okay. I
put a
can
photograph?
show our audience that photo. It's Mountain Goddess. It's another story about along the Three Gorges, right?
Yeah. I mean, do we have time to maybe talk about the basic?
You
story?
can give our audience a brief introduction.
Okay, I'll try to make this brief. So it's really like a kind of a mythical love story.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, you have the male main lead. So basically, he's a man from the mortal world, like a normal human. But the scenery of Wushan, like the gorges, is kind of like so enchanting. They're kind of in mythical, in ancient history, it's kind of been treated like a mythical land, like a magical land. So in this story, there's kind of a land of elves, like deep in the mountains. So this lady we can see at the front of the stage, she's like a mountain elf, and basically the lead character from the mortal world, his mother is like dying of an illness, and basically to cure her, he needs to go and get this magical plant, like an elixir, from the elf land. So he goes in there to go and try and find it. And when he's there, he meets the elf lady who helps him find it. But then there's like an evil character called the water goblin. So he also comes and he wants to kind of take the magic plant. Yeah, before he can take it. So they have a fight and the water goblin is defeated. But then when he leaves, he kind of vows to regain his energy and get revenge. Yeah, so basically he takes the elixir, he cures his mother, but then he also falls in love with the mountain elf.
Okay.
So basically he, even though the other elves don't agree, he convinces her to marry him in the mortal world. But they have a kind of a problem, is that they, here there are lots of ancient superstitions. So sometimes when people get married, they go to a fortune teller. And maybe they'll read your palms, check your birth dates and things like that. But because the elf lady is not really a human, this fortune teller can't see anything of her past lives or her present life.
Okay.
So she says, this is probably a bad marriage. But anyway, they insist they want to get married. So that happens. But then after that, it kind of brings bad luck because the water goblin kind of has assembled like a small army, and they come and they set fire to the village. And at one point, the water goblin is about to kill the main character, but the elf kind of takes the strike instead, and she dies. And then a bit later, because they can still somehow meet. But then like another calamity comes, so like a big flood comes along, because before the Yangtze Dam was built, Wushan suffered from a lot of floods as well.
Okay.
So a big flood, they threatened to destroy the village again, and basically the elf, she kind of met her father, and she said, okay, if you want to protect the village, then what you have to do, you have to kind of turn into a mountain to block the water.
Okay. That's Gorges Peak.
Yeah, Goddess Peak. Yeah.
The mountain elf actually finally at the end turned into the Gorges Peak, like a peak along the Three Gorges to protect the city itself, right?
Yes.
The city behind her. That's quite a touching story. How long this performance lasts?
Not too long, about less than an hour.
Less than an hour, right? I think it's like a very good story told.
Yeah.
And I think that's good about like taking the Three Gorges cruise. Like people know. I mean, like also Three Gorges is so popular, so well known even abroad, right? But when you really embark on this tour along Three Gorges, you are not only to see these amazing views, around, but also the thousands history of these cities, the civilizations around, and the cities, and like James mentioned, these love stories and these history stories. It's like all part of the Three Gorges tour. Yeah, definitely. This is like so much. It's not only like sceneries to him home, but also like the stories and the cultural experiences. Do you love this? Do you like this trip? This first?
Yeah, it was a fantastic trip. And actually, I've been on many fantastic trips in Chongqing. And it kind of feels like you go on one trip and somehow it was even better there than the last. Yeah, so so this year I've been fortunate to go to some really amazing places, and this is definitely one of them.
I see. So how about like the cruise inside? How is it? How is like the facilities, like they got nice bedrooms? Do they got nice cuisines and food like this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I said, this design of ship came in 2012. Okay. So before the cruise ships were considerably smaller, and now basically because of the size, they're able to turn it really into a 5-star hotel. Yeah. So I had a double room to myself. They're very clean, very comfortable, very spacious. And they have your own private bathroom, running water, shower, TV.
Wow, that's
everything.
I mean, you mentioned that it's like a 5-star, 4-star hotels inside.
Yeah.
Right? Like this.
Definitely. You have your own private balcony as well. So you have your own river view. You can see the bank out one side.
Nice, very good.
Very comfortable overnight. Very little noise. Because not many waves, and it's very smooth. So you can sleep very well overnight. Yeah.
That's great. We got Rudy Tan. So that's Miss Chongqing so much. Yes. Can we also hello Rudy Tan.
Hello Rudy. Well, thank you for joining us.
Showing you a little bit about maybe also you are familiar with Talking with Duck, I believe. So James, maybe we can turn around to show our audience what's around with Talking with Duck again.
Oh, okay. So we'll go this way. Let's just this in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that way is looking up the Yangtze. So we can see Dongshemen Bridge in the distance. Maybe far in the distance, maybe we have a cruise boat for the Three Gorges. But nearer to us, most of these are sailing boats for the two rivers where people get on to enjoy the night view of Chongqing. Also in the background, you can see the mountain, because Chongqing is mountain city.
Yes, the mountain line there.
Yeah, so this is called Nanshan. And this is also like one of my favorite places to go. Lots of really good places to visit. So this is another night cruise boat. Point it over this way.
Yeah, that's where the Yangtze River and
Yeah, that's the Cheltenham Bridge in the distance. Actually, the two rivers are like the same colour today. But sometimes like in the summer months, the Yangtze is kind of a more brown colour, and the Jialing River is like a green.
Green, and you can clearly see that kind of joint line in front of the camera. But maybe not today. It's still foggy, and also it's not easy to distinguish the colour yet.
Yeah. So people compare it to the Yin Yang Walk. So with the hot pot, you have sometimes if you want a spicy and a bland soup, you can have it kind of split in half, and it's like a yin yang shape, isn't it? So one side is red, the other side is white. So when you in the summer months when the rivers are different colours, they kind of mix together and they look a little bit like the soup in the hot pot, don't they? If I stand up and show you a bit more, you can see some of the locals. So they like to come here and relax a little bit.
Yeah, it's like chill out here.
Okay, and this is just the front of Cheltenham Square, and above it we can see the magnificent Raffles Square, which is
like a sailing boat, right?
Yes. So it's built like a sailing boat, and also just behind it you can see the Crystal as well, which is like maybe the first horizontal skyscraper in China.
It's one of the tallest. It's not like the tallest. Only one, because there's always one corner, right?
Yeah, there's always going to be one taller. Yeah.
Yeah, around this area, Cheltenham Dock is in Chongqing's Yuzhong district. Because Mikkel Larsen is asking, are there any little hidden gems or interesting places to visit near there? Yes, there are like very interesting museums. Of course, here Dock is already a very beautiful sceneries to observe, but also in like this there is a planning museum down inside, and when you walk further from this place, from Cheltenham Dock, you are come to the Chongqing's one of the hottest tourist district, Yuzhong district. There you find many more things, and I think we will continue to show do such kind of live streams on the spot to show you interesting things about the whole city. This time we're at the Cheltenham Dock because we want to show you James' exciting Yangtze River cruise trip. And growing in next week, we will continue to bring you interesting live streams. We will do in different spots of the city and explore the city together with you. If you have any interesting place you want us to visit, you can put a comment in this video and on Facebook or YouTube, because we are online on these two platforms. So yeah, just let us know. We will interact with you. We will answer your questions, and we'll bring it. If we are got enough preparation time, we'll visit the place you suggest us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. And then after the performance, the next day we went to Gorges. So this was the last part of the trip.
Yeah.
So after watching the performance, which was Mountain Goddess, we actually went to go and see the Goddess Peak.
Yeah.
So basically, it was a 1 hour minibus ride up into Gorges, and I think the viewing platform we went to was about 2,000 meters above sea level, so like really high. So we had some really spectacular views. Having a little bit of a problem with this stand.
It's okay. We can hold it hand a little bit. So we are soon to wrap up this episode. Just last question we take. Jason, as he asked, has it ever snowed in Chongqing? Well, it's a good question. Chongqing is really big. Different districts we have, right? In downtown area, like the central area, like we are now in, actually it's not very often. For many years we did not snow, but in some far districts or counties near the downtown or in mountain areas, especially like Jingfo Mountain, Berry Mountain, and these places, people go skiing there because it snowed and there are snow there. So in downtown it may not easy to see, but go to the mountain areas of Chongqing, yes, you will probably have a large chance to find snowing and enjoying the snow activities.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I suppose recently I went to another county called Chongqing as well, kind of far in the northwest of Chongqing.
Yeah.
It's one of the first counties to snow.
To snow every year, because it's temperature is lowest. Yeah. So actually, we're gonna wrap up for our this time's live stream. Thank you everybody in front of the screen, and also thank you everybody like gonna watch the live stream later. We appreciate your views, we appreciate your coming and joining our discussion and watch our live stream, and we will continue to bring wonderful content about this city. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chongqing, Facebook, Twitter, or like that, and stay tuned with us on the content we will bring. And as well, just one short preview of the upcoming social media campaign we will do. You know, like Kung Fu, right? Chongqing is also in Yubei district, is very famous for the Kung Fu, like martial arts. We soon will start a campaign called Kung Fu Challenge, and our social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, that we will invite some masters, Kung Fu masters, to do some interesting but kind of a little hard like movement, right? And we will challenge you in front of the screens, like to join this challenge and to see whether you can do as well as these masters, or at least copy these movements or not. James will try.
I'll try. A try is the key word.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. And thank you again, everybody, for watching. And we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay, and make up one final word.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and I'll just say like the time has gone really quickly, and I kind of still feel like I could say so much more about the trip. Yeah. So basically, this trip was so people can learn more about the cultural tourism resources of Chongqing. And so these consuls, they're going to be able to get to know Chongqing better. And they're going to promote these resources more to people in their own countries as well. So we do hope we can have more and more visitors on these places in the future.
Explore the city. It's really a travel gem in China. Chongqing City, where we are now.
Yeah. So. Okay, and like Xiao said as well, don't forget to subscribe and follow us as much as possible in the future. I've had a great time today. Thank you very much for joining. It's been a real pleasure. And we'll be seeing you again soon for sure.
Yeah. See you.
Sure. See you. Bye bye.